Thank you, Representative Hinojosa. A part of the issue of this legislation that's being proposed is that the directives it gives to police officers is very vague. Would that be fair?
That is correct.
And what actually happens once a police officer starts down the pathway of this bill, there's a lot of discretion up to that officer. Would that be fair?
A complete discretion.
Complete discretion. In fact, there's almost no standards in this to tell officers what they're supposed to do. It just throws out a lot of things that they could do. Is that fair?
That's right. No standards, no training.
And in fact, what your amendment is trying to do is trying to keep officers on the pathway of maintaining constitutional actions, right?
Correct.
And what we don't want them to do is have officers in one part of the state just randomly choose to do one thing and another part of the state randomly choose to do another thing. There needs to be some consistency, and especially consistency in not using racial basis as the basis of enforcement.
That is never appropriate.
And just like Mr. Spiller came up here and answered when we asked him, when he was asked, what kind of thing would actually give an officer reasonable suspicion that someone crossed illegally if they did not see it themselves? And his answer was, I don't know. Is that a problem?
That's a problem. His answer was something like, if they see them walking in the dark with a backpack, you know what? All day long, question that person. That is an officer's right and job to do. But now we're giving that officer not just the right and power to do that, but to take that individual with no adjudication as to that person's status, take that individual who can't prove their citizenship and take them to the border and order them to cross into a foreign country.
And the thing is, I've done criminal law long enough to say, like, if an officer tells a judge that all they saw a person do was walk around with a backpack at night, a judge would laugh them out of the courtroom. You know that? And if we say that that is the basis, if that was the pure basis for an arrest, that person's getting released. Just walking down the street at night with a backpack is not a crime. But the fact is that an officer could stop that person, be forbidden from arresting them, but still could involuntarily take them to a port of entry with no due process. And even if that person says, I'm a U.S. citizen, I'm a permanent resident, I live here, that officer could just simply choose to ignore it, right? There's nothing in this legislation that says if somebody tells you that they're a citizen, somebody tells you that you're a green card holder, somebody tells you I have a visa, that you have to listen to it at all, or that you have to provide them with due process. There's nothing in this bill like that.
That is correct.
Right? So officers are guessing. When they meet somebody in Dallas, they meet somebody in El Paso, they meet somebody in Fort Worth, they meet somebody in Houston, or Austin, or San Antonio, they're guessing that they're here illegally, right?
They are issuing a verdict on your life, whether or not you are authorized to be in this country. They are issuing that verdict, and then they are delving out the punishment by taking you to the border and ordering you to cross it.
And even if you protest and say, no, I am a permanent resident here, I am legal, the officer can simply just choose to ignore you. There's nothing in this bill that provides you with any due process.
That is correct.
And what you are trying to do is saying, look, if you're not going to allow people to have due process, you're not going to allow people to challenge their detention, you're not going to allow people to challenge you taking them to a port of entry, at least do it only in circumstances where the officer knows for a fact that they have personally witnessed this person enter illegally.
That is correct.
Isn't that the point of your amendment?
That is my amendment.
That is a right and proper amendment.